Adopt a CEO mindset and learn how to delegate. Trust me, I know. I'm a recovering control freak. If you would love to work less and earn more, you really need to master delegation, but you're in luck because I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in this video starting now. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things truly, but I would not be able to do that if I did not adopt a CEO mindset and learn how to delegate. Yes, delegation is something that I worked really hard on in 2022. And so now in 2023, I'm starting to see the fruits of it in terms of what I'm able to achieve in my business, the freedom that I now have to focus on bigger picture projects, strategy, all the different things that many of us aspire to focus on in our business, but we feel like we're like in the weeds. Part of the reason we feel that way is because we're not good at delegating. And I get it. I was not good at delegating either. I was a bit of a control freak and I wanted to do everything my way. So if you would love to work less and earn more, you really need to master delegation, but you're in luck because I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in this video starting now. All right, the first thing that you have to understand before we can even get to delegation, and this is like really important, you really should know this for your business anyway, but this is especially important when it comes to having a CEO mindset, and that is understanding what your revenue generating activities are. I am always shocked how many people don't understand what actually generates revenue in their business and what doesn't. And I get it because this can sound very broad, like, oh, I'm creating YouTube videos, or I'm posting on social media, or I'm sending emails, or I'm coaching clients. What's actually a revenue generating activity and what isn't? Again, you're gonna have to kind of start from the end and work your way backwards. So you wanna think about what are the actual sales that you make in your business, what are the programs that you sell, what are the offerings that you have, and then work backwards. Say, okay, for this coaching program, how did we sell that? Okay, we sold it this way. What comes before that? Is it an email automation campaign, or, is it some sort of like marketing launch that we're doing? Okay, how do we get people into the email automation campaign, or how do we get people into the marketing launch? Like, if you kind of back it up, you will understand what actually leads to revenue and what activities, though they are important, are not actually revenue generating activities. For instance, maybe answering emails or customer service is important and that needs to be done. That's not actually a revenue generating activity. So you want to get clear on revenue generating activities and activities that are not revenue generating, because the ones that are not revenue generating, you need to delegate those like offhand, right? And that's not to say you're not also going to delegate some revenue generating activities as well, but particularly if it's not generating revenue, again, if it's important and it's something that you still need done in your business, you got to start delegating that. So go ahead and make a list between revenue generating activities and activities that are not revenue generating, and understand that delegation really starts with the non-revenue generating activities on that list. All right, the next thing you need to do, and this also goes in the way of mindset, and this is very important, because if you don't adopt this mindset first, you're never gonna delegate. Like, trust me, I know. I'm a recovering control freak, and that is making delegation the default. Most of the time when we sit down to do anything in our business, our default mindset is that I'm the one that has to do it, right? If you get a ping on your phone and you see that you got a customer service email, immediately you're the one that's responding to it. Even, people reaching out to your social media platforms, maybe people are reaching out to your Facebook page and they're, asking questions in the DMs. You feel like, oh my goodness, I'm the one that has to do that. A client might email you and ask you and say, hey, can I get such and such thing that we talked about on our coaching call? And immediately you're like, oh, I'm the one that has to do that. In order to shift truly into the CEO mindset, it has to be the opposite, meaning delegation has to be default, meaning you're not the one that does anything. Now, granted, you might actually be doing a lot in your business, but when a task comes in, make it default that you're not the one that does it. And that if you are the one that does it, you have to justify that, right? So oftentimes we do it backwards, where we're like, oh, no, I'm the one that needs to do it. They can't do it because of X, Y, Z. What if everything that came to you, you said, oh no, I'm not the one that does it because of X, Y, Z. Someone else can do it. When you have that mindset, you will find that you'll be able to delegate things that you never would have imagined that you could have delegated if you did not adopt this mindset first. All the things you think that you have to do, you would be shocked to find that not only can someone else do them, someone else can probably do them a lot better in your business. So if you want to put on your CEO hat, you have to adopt the mindset that delegation is your default. You don't do things, your team does things. And if they require you to do something, they have to justify it, not the other way around. All right, so when it comes to getting into the nitty-gritty beauty of actually learning how to delegate, there's one tool that you'll really want to take advantage of. And this is not something that I find is talked about a lot in popular online entrepreneurship content, even though it should be, but I personally had to learn this from my project manager. And that's the concept of a process mapping session. So a process mapping session is essentially an opportunity for you to sit with the person for whom you want to delegate the activity, and you literally map out the process of how you do what you do. That way they can take notes, they can ask questions, you can record the session if you're doing it on Zoom. And then after that process mapping session, you give them the opportunity to try it out on their own. And then as they run into hiccups or I couldn't figure out how to do XYZ, that's great. That's an opportunity for them to come back to you and for you to update the little process mapping session that you did. So it doesn't have to be really complicated. I mean, I literally did this with my executive assistant. We got on a Zoom, and it's important to do a live process mapping session because I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm just gonna do a Loom video or a screen, recording video and showing people what I do. But we never get around to it, right? I love process mapping sessions because it forces you to actually take the time out and show the person how you do whatever it is that you do. Because if you don't do that process mapping session, every time the task comes in or it needs to be done, you're gonna default to doing it yourself because you're like, oh, it's just faster if I do it. So if you constantly find yourself saying, oh, it's just faster if I do it, and you really wanna get out of that, you need to do process mapping sessions. That way people can sit with you, they can ask you questions, and you could take 30 minutes to an hour and show them, you do this, and then next I do this, and then I do this, and you just show them. You don't even have to write anything down. You literally are showing your screen, you're recording it as you go along, and you're simply doing the activity that you ordinarily would do, and you're allowing the person to ask you questions as you do it. I'm telling you, the recordings from those process mapping sessions are gold. You can give them to the person, they can refer back to them as needed, and then you'll find that they're off to the races. I know when I did my process mapping session with my executive assistant, when it came to paying invoices, she only needed one session and she was done. And now I haven't paid an invoice in over a year. Now, I pay my invoices. I mean, I pay my contractors, but I'm not the person that needs to manually do those invoices. She takes complete care of that. And I just love it. This is what I'm saying. The freedom you can have if you learn how to delegate. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. Are you good or bad at delegation? Be honest. Share in the comments below. All right, the next thing that you have to do if you want to get really good at delegation, and I kind of alluded to this in the last point, is you have to let people try things out. Oftentimes, again, we default to doing it ourselves because we're like, I'm the only person that can do it, right? We have this superhero syndrome. But I found what has really helped me is just giving the task to the person, even without any instruction, and just allowing them to try it out. You would be shocked. There are so many things that I was like, there's no way they're gonna know how to do this, but because I was literally absolutely so busy I couldn't get to it, I just said, hey, you can take a crack at it, and if you can't figure it out, don't worry, I'll check on you, later and do it myself. And I was shocked that when I was done doing whatever I needed to do and I checked in on them, not only did they do it, but they did it way better than I would have done it, and they did it in a way that I hadn't thought of. And so that's the beauty of letting people try things out, even without instruction, is that oftentimes they will do things according to maybe how they do things in something else, and maybe they have really great experience in something similar, and so they can actually optimize your systems and your processes because you've been doing things a certain way, but that doesn't mean it's the best way. There might be new and updated ways to do things that your employees are actually familiar with because they do something similar in a different arena, but because you've never just given them the opportunity to try the task, you wouldn't know about a better way to do things. So this is actually one of my favorite things to do now when something comes in and I'm delegating, I'm of the mindset of hey, I don't do this. Even if I don't have time to do a process mapping session or explain it, I will often, just as a test, give it to someone on my team just to see how they fare, and more often than not, I am pleasantly surprised. All right, the next thing you need to do if you want to get good at delegating, and this might be scary, but again, if you're a recovering control freak, you really have to let this go. It'll just save so much time. That is, create systems that don't involve you. I know. Think about all the things that you are currently doing, all the things that need to be done in your business, and then you'll want to systematize them, meaning you want to maybe do a process mapping session, break down how these things get done. But as you are breaking that down, maybe you're creating standard operating procedures or all these different routines that you need to have in your business. Do it from the standpoint of you're not going to be the one doing it. essentially you want to create a system that totally pushes you out where you're not even involved in it anymore. And I really love this exercise because it forces you to think really critically about what it would take for you to get out of that process. Oftentimes when we say, oh, no, I'm the only person that can do it, we just say that, but we don't think critically about, why am I the only person that can do this? Am I the only person that can do this because I'm the only person on my team that has access to this specific software? Well, then it's very simple to just give somebody else access and voila, you're no longer the only person that can do it. So this is what I'm saying. We just say that to ourselves because we're so used to doing everything ourselves. But if we are intentional about creating systems that literally don't involve us, where it's almost as if there's a gun to your head and somebody else has to do it, it can't be you, you would be shocked at how creative you can be to make it so that you actually don't have to be involved in the process. And again, that frees you so that you're not always working in your business, but you can actually work on your business. You can think more strategically and do things that are gonna allow you to get to a higher and higher level. All right, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you're going to love my outsourcing cheat sheet. So this is what I used at the very beginning of my business when I went full time. And this goes over all the different resources that I use, all the different tools and technology that I have used in order to delegate things in my business. Because I get it. Sometimes you can't delegate to a person because maybe you're not at a place where you can hire people yet, but you can certainly delegate to a piece of software or a tool. So if you're curious to know more about the tools that I first used when I was growing my business, go ahead and click the link below to download that outsourcing cheat sheet. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait for my next video, make sure that you are following me on my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure that you are following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.